Hi everyone and welcome to Rrrussian. My name is Marina and today I have a grammar lesson for you. In this lesson we are going to talk about aspects of Russian verbs. This subject can be quite daunting for a lot of Russian learners because, for example, English has no equivalent of the Russian system of aspects. And I guess it's fair to say the same about some other languages. But this is an extremely important topic, and I hope that after this lesson you will have a better understanding of what aspects are and how to use them correctly. So let's get started. In the Russian language we have three tenses: present, past, and future. And in addition to that, Russian verb has two aspects: imperfective and perfective. Basically, tenses tell us when the action happened, and aspects show us if the action completed or still in progress. When you look up a Russian verb in a dictionary, you will usually see two infinitives. For example, читать, прочитать. It means to read. The first one of these is called imperfective, and the second is perfective. The imperfective aspect is used to show a process, and the perfective aspect is used to show a result. For example, Василий ел голубя. Vasily was eating a pigeon. This sentence describes the process. That's why the imperfective aspect is used. Василий съел голубя. Vasily has eaten a pigeon. This sentence describes the result. The pigeon has been eaten and there is no pigeon here.
No pigeon?
Hence we use the perfective aspect. Okay, let's talk about each aspect in details. As I mentioned before, the imperfective aspect is used when we talk about the process of doing something. It does not only mean that you are doing it right now. You could be in the process of doing something yesterday or the day after tomorrow. We do not focus on completing the task. We do not know whether we will finish it soon or ever. We focus on the process. For example, let's assume that tomorrow Vasily will also eat a pigeon. Завтра Василий также будет есть голубя. So he is going to eat a pigeon tomorrow, but there is no guarantee that he'll finish eating the pigeon on that given day. There is a chance that he will get bored of eating this pigeon and never finish his meal. Or maybe he will continue eating it the day after tomorrow and the next week. So we can conclude that when it comes to the imperfective aspect, we are dealing with an ongoing action. And we can use the imperfective aspect in the past, present, or future tenses. But for the future tense, we must use compound future. The compound future is made up of two parts: the future tense of the verb to be, plus an imperfective aspect. I will definitely make a video about the future tense in the future. For example, Василий будет есть по 3 голубя в день в ближайшие несколько недель. Vasily will eat 3 pigeons a day in the next few weeks. In addition to describing the process, the ongoing action, we use the imperfective aspect when we talk about facts. And the example of this could be: Аркадий не ел этот стейк, потому что он знал эту свинью. Arkady didn't eat the steak because he had known this pig. So basically, we acknowledge facts here. So, Arkady не ел этот steak. Arkady didn't eat the steak. There's nothing to talk about, that is just a fact. Потому что он знал эту свинью. Because he had known this pig. So maybe they met in a pub, or who knows. That is just a fact. Or another example. Земля вращается вокруг Солнца. The earth revolves around the sun. That is a fact. Although the theory that the earth stands on a turtle and elephants is also quite convincing. Number 3. We use the imperfective aspect when we talk about regularity of doing something. And there are usually words which will help you understand that we are talking about regular actions here, such as всегда, часто, иногда. We are talking about adverbs of frequency here, or time expressions, which indicate that the action is being repeated over and over, such as каждый год, каждый раз, каждую неделю, and so on. And if you want to learn more about adverbs of frequency, then watch my other video. I will leave a link in the description. Каждый раз, когда Тамара играла на флейте, ее кошка кричала и кусала женщину за ноги. Every time Tamara played the flute, her cat screamed and bit the woman's feet. So it happened regularly. By the way, this is an autobiographical story. When I was a teenager, I studied at a music school and played the flute. When I was practicing at home, my cat would go crazy, start screaming, aggressively rush at me and bite my feet. My brother said that he completely understood his behavior, while my parents were silent, but looking at their faces, you could see suffering. Eventually, our cat ran away from us. But my neighbors seemed to suffer the most. I think that initially I misunderstood them. I thought that they wanted me to play louder and more often, because at the beginning of my learning journey, they said that I played incredibly quietly, softly, and they rarely could hear me. So I thought, oh, they're right. I should play louder, more often, and more diligently. Well, I was quite a lazy student, so I didn't play every day, but for exams or performances, I played incredibly diligently. I was playing for hours and hours. And I think that that was enough for them to suffer, because whenever they saw me, they approached me and asked how long I was going to play and how soon I was going to stop. I wonder why they didn't run away. They must have suffered so much. Okay, going back to our main subject, which is aspects of Russian verbs. Number 4. Simultaneity of different actions. Ночью, в то время как Василий забивает гвозди в стену, Аркадий танцует. At night, while Vasily hammers nails into the wall, Arkady dances. And the good news is that certain verbs are always followed by an imperfective aspect in Russian. For example, начинать – начать, to start. Продолжать – to continue. Кончать – кончить, to finish. Переставать – перестать, to stop, to cease. Василий перестал есть голубей. Василий stopped eating pigeons. Голуби продолжают прятаться от Василия. The pigeons are continuing to hide from Vasily. Okay, enough about the imperfective aspect. Let's move on to the perfective aspect. When do we use the perfective aspect? We use the perfective aspect when we talk about, as I said before, number 1, result. Perfective verbs describe actions that have been completed or will be completed. For example, Аркадий съел эту старую курицу, чтобы она замолчала. Arkady ate this old chicken to silence it. So the chicken was eaten, and now what do we hear? Silence. This sentence describes the result. Hence we use the perfective aspect. Number 2, something is done or is going to be done only once, and there is usually an exact time. Вчера в 3 часа дня Аркадий радостно станцевал чечетку, потому что его старая курица замолчала. Yesterday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Arkady happily danced a tap dance because his old chicken was silent. Or Аркадий съел старую курицу в 3 часа дня. Arkady ate an old chicken at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the last one, Number 3. When we describe sequence of actions. Аркадий прожевал остаток курицы, выпил вина и угрожающе посмотрел на кота, который шумно опрокинул вазу на пол. Arkady chewed the rest of the chicken, drank wine, and looked menacingly at the cat who noisily dropped the vase on the floor. Or another example. Он вернулся домой с работы, поужинал и включил телевизор. He returned home, had dinner, and turned on the TV. And I want to emphasize that the perfective aspect can't describe actions in the present tense, because the result can be either reached in past or it will be reached in future. If we want to describe actions that are happening in the present tense, we use the imperfective aspect, because in the present tense we always deal with the process and never with the result. Okay, now you know when you must use the imperfective aspect and when you must use the perfective aspect. And it is time to say a couple of things about how they are formed. In dictionaries, verbs are usually in the imperfective form. Perfective verbs are formed in several ways. The most common way is by using prefixes. It's a small addition to the front of the infinitive, such as на, пере, про, по, у, вы, and so on. Печь – испечь, to bake. Писать – написать, to write. Читать – прочитать, to read. Строить – построить, to build. Лечить – вылечить, to cure. Видеть – увидеть, to see. Обедать – пообедать, to have lunch. Perfective verbs can be created by using suffix «ну». Прыгать – прыгнуть, to jump. Кричать – крикнуть, to scream. Sometimes there is a really striking difference between the two aspects. Говорить – сказать, to talk, speak, say. Возвращаться – вернуться, to return. Сесть – садиться, to sit down. But the imperfective aspect can be also created from the perfective aspect with the help of suffixes such as «ива». Вбросить – вбрасывать, to throw in. «Ива». Взбить – взбивать, to whip. А. Заключить – заключать, to conclude. And there are other ways. So, unfortunately, there is no simple way of predicting what the imperfective or perfective might be. It's not really effective to memorize all these ways of creating aspects. That is why when you learn a new verb in Russian, try to memorize both aspects. When you construct a phrase, just think about what it describes: a process, a fact, a sequence of actions, a result, etc. And just choose the aspect according to that. So that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Пока-пока. And the good news is that